Welcome to Living Out Loud. I'm Barbara Venezia, and I'm here with my co-host, Rene Horsch. Oh, my God.
How could you screw that up, Barbara? Huh?
I can't talk today.
Okay.
I think it's the paint fumes. I'm having my house painted, and so if I'm a little goofy today, it's residual from the paint fumes.
That's okay, because I blew in here on a fume. I came flying down the Harbor Freeway, so got here just in time. But, hey, we're going to have a great show.
Hey, you have booked the whole show today,
Yeah.
which, thank you.
We got a star-studded cast, huh?
You do. Well, first of all, what a score to get Fran Drescher.
Yeah, wasn't that huge?
That is huge. I mean, I was a huge Nanny fan.
Oh, me too, yeah.
And that show's still on television.
It's still rocking and rolling, yeah.
And then, of course, she was on that other show, Happily Divorced.
Yeah, which was a great show. I wish that it would have lasted a little longer. It was really incredible.
I thought it was a good show, too, because it was really based on her relationship with her ex-husband.
Yeah.
Peter Marc Jacobson. And he's going to be on the show, too, today.
Yeah, he's going to talk to us a little bit, and he's a friend of mine, and he's a great guy, and it was a lot of fun being able to Joan Collins again, my client. She's always connected to all these people. It's like 6 degrees of separate. It's like 2 degrees separation from Joan Collins.
We always have a Joan
Forget
Collins.
Kevin Bacon.
Update.
It's about Joan Collins.
It's
right?
all about Joan.
But she was on their show. She had 3 guest spots on Happily Divorced, and I had met Peter before that show, and but it was really great it was actually really neat to see them working again together. But for me to be able to see that capacity of them working together behind the scenes and watching the taping, and it was a lot of fun. They did a great job.
He's got a connection to Dynasty too, a little Dynasty trivia.
Yeah, he does. We'll have to ask him about that, because he was on. He played one of Joan Collins' male secretaries, and when she was running her big oil company on Dynasty, and because it was funny because it was like kind of like an ongoing joke on Dynasty that she would every episode she'd have like a new hot male secretary.
Well, he certainly is hot. I mean,
yeah,
I looked
he's
him
a
up
good-looking man.
on
Yeah.
the internet, and he's a really handsome man.
Yeah.
Well, she's had a tough time there, Fran Drescher.
Yeah,
in
she
1999, her show ended, The Nanny.
Mm-hmm.
She got divorced,
Right.
and then she was diagnosed with stage 1 uterine cancer.
I know, isn't that awful?
That's a tough one. And so after going a radical hysterectomy, she wrote a book about her experiences in 2002 called Cancer Schmancer, which is the name of her charity organization, and that's what she's going to be talking to us today about.
Yeah, and when I went to the taping to see my client Joan on the show, afterwards they had like a little wrap party, and Joan had brought her a girlfriend of hers along named Sue Vanner, and she was a James Bond girl in The Spy Who Loved Me.
Ooh.
When James Bond went flying down the Austrian mountains and goes flying and lands on some ski chalet and crashes through the roof, and of course there's a naked beautiful woman, blonde, on a bear rug, and that was Sue Vanner. So she's one of those ex-Bond girls. Anyway,
Right.
she was backstage with us because she's a friend of Joan, and so I was hanging out with her. Well, Fran and she were talking about being cancer survivors, because Sue has also Susie had breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
So the two of them were talking all about not to sleep with a television in your room with it on.
Really?
Yeah, because I guess like the radiation's not good, and the two of them were discussing like having your cell phone by your nightstand when you sleep is not good. And
Ooh, 2 things I do.
I know, we all do those things, and so the two of them were having this really amazing conversation that was it was all new to me, and that both of them like eat organic, and Fran lives out in Malibu because she wants to be close to the fresh air and not the pollutants that are in LA. So it was really interesting. So we'll have to ask her about these things again.
Yeah. Well, when I
refresh
was
her memory.
looking on her website, they have something called Hold a Detox Your Home Party.
Yeah, and that's
So I would imagine part of that is of detoxing your home. So we're going to talk to her about that.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to talk about fun, fashion, and some substance. How about that, right? Yeah.
And then, Fran just got married recently.
She did. The dude that invented the email.
Right.
I mean, we got to ask her, like, does every email that gets sent, does he get like 10 cents to the email or something?
I don't know.
How does that work?
She's certainly married well. And then you got Randy Spelling.
We got Randy. Yeah, Randy, he's got his own, he moved out of Los Angeles and lives in Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
And he's married and has, I think, 1 or 2 children. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out from him. I haven't spoken to him in a little while. But he's a life coach. And, he got out of Los Angeles and away from the entertainment industry, which is he's got such strong entertainment
Right,
roots.
because Aaron Spelling, Candy Spelling are his parents. His sister Tori's on television.
Yeah.
And so when I was looking at his website, it's he's just gotten away from all of that and says he's an intuitive life coach. He's a motivational speaker and a writer and a spiritual facilitator is what it says. And he does relationship coaching, spiritual coaching, and career coaching. So it'll be interesting to talk to him about his qualifications, and then I guess his wife is part of that also, Leah.
Yeah, and actually,
She's a psychic.
Isn't that's really interesting. So, what the cool part is, I've known Randy Spelling since he was 12 years old.
Really?
Yeah, because Mark and I, we used to go over to the house all the time and watch movies. Candy and Aaron would invite us over and for dinners and movies, and we were at that house all the time. So it was interesting. It's interesting. The life that he has now is more of like a normal life in the sense, because he kind of grew up like as Richie Rich,
right?
Growing up in this incredible 56,000 square foot mansion, and it was, it was unlike anything I had ever experienced in my entire life. It was really
Mike,
incredible.
our producer, is telling us that Fran's actually on the phone.
Oh, she is. Oh my God, that's great.
Welcome, Fran, to Living Out Loud with Barbara and Rene.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Oh, my pleasure, my absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, we wanted to talk a little bit about your charity organization, Cancer Schmancer.
Yes.
And I was looking at your website, which is great. Tell me when you started the organization and how important it is that it keeps growing.
Well, I started the organization after my own cancer survival, which was in 2000. In the year 2000, I was diagnosed and had the surgery that cured me of uterine cancer. Then I wrote what became the New York Times bestseller, Cancer Schmancer, the book which kind of shared my story and helped other people transform from being a patient into a medical consumer, and so that what happened to me doesn't happen to other people by means of mistreatment and misdiagnosis. And I'm happy to say that that book and the ideas that I had formulated garnered so much attention that a movement sort of blossomed out of that. And so that's where my organization comes in, the Cancer Schmancer movement. And I'm happy to say that, we fill a very unique space in the health world because we are not waiting for a quote-unquote cure, because we believe that we really need to start looking at the cause of cancers as well as many other diseases. And until we start identifying that and eliminating it, there's never going to be a cure or a kind of a super pill that's going to hit across the board all these illnesses while we continue to compromise our immune system by exposing ourselves to lethal cocktails of various toxins and pesticides and herbicides and carcinogens and hormones and all of this stuff that we inundate our poor immune systems with on a daily basis. And one of the things that Cancer Schmancer has learned and is sharing with our followers is that the home, it turns out, is the most toxic place we spend the most time in.
Now, I saw that on your website, hosting a Detox Your Home party to teach your friends and family how to live a less toxic, healthier, and preventative lifestyle. So what things in the home should we be getting rid of, and what products should they be replaced with?
Well, I think that we have everything old is new again, and we really have to start reintroducing into our homes the sort of things that have ingredients that might have grown in our grandma's garden. If it's filled with chemicals that we can't pronounce, we don't know what they do, we don't know why they're in there, just err on the side of caution and avoid, because the majority of chemicals that are found in our cleaning products, in our personal care products, as well as what's put into processed foods, the FDA has no idea how toxic they are and to what degree we can take them in what combinations with other things they can create harm for us.
So when you say, host a Detox Your Home party, what does that entail? If somebody clicks on that link, what do you send them, tools or booklets? Take us through a Detox Your Home party.
Well, the Detox Your Home party is a new version of, say, what was once a Tupperware party.
Okay.
But instead of selling people plastic, we're selling people on the notion of how to detox their home. And so you, as a homemaker, may want to invite some of your friends or loved ones to the house, and Cancer Schmancer will provide you with all the information that you need to share with your friends. And you can encourage your friends to bring any non-toxic, eco-friendly item, whether it be a personal care item, makeup, cleaning, or gardening, or food that they have found that they think is particularly exceptional and would make an easy transition to replace your present, more toxic and potentially harmful to you and your family's product. So we make it fun for you. We offer games. You can download all this stuff, and it's extremely user-friendly. We also have recipes on how to make your own cleaning product.
Oh, really?
If you feel like, some of the eco-friendly products, which are marvelous and very effective and won't harm you, your pets, your family, or the planet, may be more expensive than you want to spend, you can make almost any combination of cleaning product out of using vinegar, rubbing alcohol, baking soda, and lemon juice. And we give you the recipes on how to make sprays and scrubs. Now, we all have to recalibrate our expectation of the things that we use to clean or the personal care products that we use on our bodies to a more realistic level where this is not going to harm us, and maybe it's not this heavy-duty industrial strength, whatever you're currently using now, that potentially can harm you. So just lower your expectations a little bit and relax.
So if you can't eat off your floor, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, just relax and, take it easy and know that in the long run, less is more, because we are hurting ourselves and our present lifestyle is completely unsustainable, and there's more and more illness. And now young people, we're doing a Detox Your Home teen assembly program because these kids, for the first time in U.S. history, have been predicted to not live as long as their parents. They've been exposed to toxins in the womb. And, babies are being born pre-polluted with 200 to 300 chemicals found in the umbilical cord, and American women's breast milk has the highest percentage of flame retardant in it from any other woman on the planet.
Wow.
We are slipping down a slope towards our own demise. But the good news is we can turn this around, and we can change the way we think about how to clean the house, what food are we eating, and what personal care items are we using to reduce our risk of cancer, as well as a whole host of other diseases that are very prevalent in our lives and gaining momentum.
I saw on your site that you have a form letter to Johnson & Johnson about their baby shampoo.
Well, we were one of the contributing special interest groups that actually put pressure through the galvanization of moms across America to take the formaldehyde out of their No More Tears shampoo.
There was formaldehyde in baby shampoo?
Yes.
Oh my
And
God.
to their credit, they have done that.
Oh, that's
So
awesome. Congratulations.
The power of purchase, good old-fashioned all-American consumerism can and must dictate manufacturing trends. We cannot sit idly by and wait for our elected officials or the FDA to tell us what we can and can't buy. We have to start dictating manufacturing trends, because at the end of the day, manufacturers don't want to kill us. They simply want to sell us, but they will sell us anything that we're willing to buy, which right now, frankly, is anything.
Right, right.
So
Well,
we can change that.
you know, you talk about youth advocacy, and I saw that you have a Trash Your Cancer game online. Tell us about that.
Well, that's targeting young kids, and it's like a video game, and you can choose if you're a boy or a girl. You pick whatever you want, and then you go through the cabinets and the refrigerator in the house, and you have to choose, and you build a score based off of whether or not you're choosing the right thing versus the wrong thing, and why the wrong thing is bad for you. And we're trying to engage kids to educate their parents to actually grab hold of the reins and tell their parents that, you know, we have to stop doing this. And I like to empower kids because they inherited this. It's to no fault of their own, but they have to realize that they're putting their health at risk unless they wake up and start, you know, leading this new 21st century direction. And so that's a big thing that cancerschmancer.org is working on, family health and kids' health. We have a WTF, We the Future, junior division at cancerschmancer.org, and we have kids all across America in their schools getting organized and getting educated and getting proactive and helping to support the efforts.
Now, how can people get involved in your organization? Are there fundraisers locally in different cities?
You know, there's always a donate option on our website. And we're always doing things. For example, we have a women's summit coming up this fall here in Los Angeles. That's going to be a lot of different people talking, panel discussions, lecturers, honorees, who are all making inroads and discoveries and are outside of the box and celebrating women. And because I think that the woman, even though we're a family organization, the woman remains the largest consumer and the caregiver of the child, the spouse, and the elders in almost every home nationwide. So it's very important that we look to her to really make the right choices, decisions, how she's going to talk to her kids, how she's going to shop at the market, what personal care items. I mean, things that we use multiple times a day, like toothpaste, for example, we really need, or every day, like, you know, deodorant, for example, or the food that we're putting in our mouth when we get up in the morning. These are the things that we really have to start looking at very closely, because the repetitiveness of the stuff that we use all the time is putting us at most risk if we're not making the right choices.
Before you called in, Rene and I were talking, and he told me that your current husband is the inventor of the email.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's a genius.
That's
He
incredible.
has 4 degrees from MIT, and when he was 14, he invented the email mail system that we know today with the inbox, the outbox, folders, files, contacts. All that never existed, nor did the term email before my husband. So I'm very proud to be his wife, and he's also very, he's on to so many big things with concerns to turning our food into medicine and moving away from reductionist healthcare, which is just this is your symptom, so we're going to do something to alleviate the symptom, but we don't know why you have it because nobody's really looking at causation and helping us rebuild our immune system so that we're healthier individuals and living a healthier lifestyle. I also want to mention that on June 21st in New York City, we're going to be kicking off Gay Pride Week with a sunset cruise, Sunday Fun Day, which is also Father's Day, in support of the Cancer Schmancer movement and in support of the same-sex families that are now legal in the state of New York, so that people can go and celebrate their authentic life, and also how important it is for all families of any orientation to be healthy and start making healthier choices by detoxing their home. And that's on June 21st, and your listeners were already, selling tickets, I believe. If you go to cancerschmancer.org/cruise, you can join us and meet me, and there'll be a lot of other celebrities on the ship, and it's going to be a fun 3-hour cocktail party around the Isle of Manhattan.
Well, great. Well, we'll make sure we pop that website and information up on our Facebook pages. And, Fran, it has been wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much for checking in with Rene and I today.
You blew me away. You just have such a wealth of information, and we really appreciate it. We're such big fans of the show that both shows that you created, but you're like Elizabeth Taylor. You're just out here for the causes. That's amazing.
And
thank you.
And actually, on hold right now to talk to us is your ex-husband, Peter Marc Jacobson.
Oh, Peter and I are the best of friends and family, and we do things together. And he's going to be on the cruise for Cancer Schmancer too.
Oh, good. Well, we'll talk to him a little bit about that as well.
Okay, well, thank you guys so very much. Be well, and thanks to all your listeners for their continued support.
Okay,
thank you so much, Fran.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, that was amazing.
That was amazing. And then we have Peter on the phone.
Hi.
Hi, Peter. You're talking with Barbara and Rene, and thanks for calling in to Living Out Loud.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Peter, how you doing?
Renee, how you doing?
Oh my God, this is great. I was telling Barbara, I said that I get to pal around with you in West Hollywood, and now we get to have you on the radio. So how much fun is that?
So how do you guys know each other?
We just run around in kind of similar social circles, and over the years we've just gotten to get to know each other, and then but we had been dressing Fran before actually I met you, Peter. For what I do with Nolan Miller and Mark Zanino. So it was kind of a roundabout way, I guess. I got to meet Peter.
I know, and you guys are so cool because when Fran just did the Tonys and she needed something to wear, they, in like a week, designed this beautiful, beautiful dress for her, and she looked amazing. And you guys are so cool, you and Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we just talked to Fran about Cancer Schmancer, and she was telling us that you're going to participate in her cruise in New York.
Yes, I am going, and I get seasick, but I am still going.
Well, she said it's only 3 hours.
No, and there'll be a dinghy in case I have to leave.
We may have to go, Barbara, on this. I'm going to definitely go. I'm going to definitely try to make that. Yeah,
it sounds good. So tell us a little bit about how you participate with Fran and the charity.
Well, I whenever they do any kind of filming, I direct usually, and I'm at all the events, and I try to get as many people as I know involved because it's so important. People don't really realize how they can change a lot. I think it's 90% of cancers are caused by just what we eat and put in our bodies and put on our bodies.
That's what she was telling us.
Yeah, people don't realize that, and you think of all the stuff that you're inhaling and putting, and what they clean the floor with, and and you're inhaling all that stuff, and it's.
Well, I think it's great what she's doing. I really do.
Yeah,
the two of you have such a unique relationship.
You think?
Yeah.
Is that an understatement? How did you guys meet?
We met in high school.
Wow.
I was going up the steps, and she was going down the steps, and I saw this amazingly beautiful woman, and I couldn't keep my eyes off her, and I walked over and I said hello, and she said, hello. I couldn't believe that voice was coming out of that beautiful face.
So you produced The Nanny.
Yes.
And you guys worked together on that. And then you did Happily Divorced.
Yes, and Beautician and the Beast we did together, and the Fran Drescher talk show we did together. And we've done a lot of stuff together and apart from each other. But I love working with her. She's so funny, and she's great to work with, and you can write wonderful material for her, and it's going to be delivered and get the laugh. She knows how to do it, and she's a terrific lady. She works so hard.
Now, are you guys working on anything else? Will we be seeing her on television again?
Hopefully, yes. We are working on a couple of projects, one for Broadway and one for television. So,
well, wasn't she on Broadway just recently?
Yes, she was. She just did Cinderella. She was fantastic.
So what are you working on now for Broadway?
A little bit of a secret.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Ooh.
It's going to be very exciting for her fans, and for I think people will be very, very excited about it.
Well, I did like that sitcom that you did, Happily Divorced.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was telling Bart, we were talking about it earlier in the show here, and I said that how incredible I thought it was, and I was able to go and see the taping when my client and good friend Joan Collins was on as a I think she had 3 episodes on your show.
She was a recurring character.
Yeah.
My character, who played me, actually became her assistant.
Uh-huh.
And
it was great.
Which is probably a dream job for any gay man.
I don't know. That's a tough job, let me tell you. I'm like 2 steps away from that when I'm, because I do so much stuff with her. So it's like it gets a little stressful, but it's fun.
So Peter,
weird is I actually worked on Dynasty as an actor.
We talked about
this,
and we were going to ask you about it.
I know. So many years ago, I played Rock Hudson's steward on his private jet.
Oh, I thought you played Joan's male secretary, because I know that she had, reoccurring, like she had, every episode, not every episode, but several episodes, she'd have a different male secretary, and I thought maybe that's what you had played.
Oh, I was the steward on Rock Hudson's jet, and it was a recurring role, but they wrote that the jet crashes, and I guess I was on with him.
Oh no!
there went your character, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Well, we seem to have a fascination with Joan Collins, and we get, it's that 6 degrees of separation.
Yes, you're right.
I said, forget Kevin Bacon. It seems to be, in my world, it's like 2 degrees of separation with Joan Collins,
She's such a great lady. She's such, I've worked with her on a few shows, and she was on The Nanny, too, actually. And she's such a pro. I mean, she's one of those ladies that come... No, she's great to work with. She's extremely creative, and she does her own makeup. She does her own everything. She's like a one-man band.
Yeah, she's like a true professional. Yeah,
those Fran's like that too. Half the time she does her own everything, and it's amazing how even and now that Joan is in her 30s, looks like she's in her 30s. She's walking around those stages in those 5-inch shoes, and God bless her, she's amazing. She's just ageless. She's just an amazing lady. Did you see? Well, you saw her, Rene, at the awards.
Oh yeah. It was like I put her together that night, and
okay,
I was.
So that you're talking about the Academy Awards.
Academy Awards, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. She got her ready for the Vanity Fair party, and had to do a couple last minute things to her dress. So, she had me come up to her place, and. But yeah, no, it's so funny, Peter, because when she did your show, The Happily Divorced, she had said, because I came for all three of those tapings that you guys did, and she pulled me aside when you guys had created the apartment for her, and she was like, Rene, she's like, can you believe this apartment set? She's like, she's like, it's better than my Dynasty set. She's like, this is TV Land. They went. She's like, this isn't even Aaron Spelling. She's like, they went all out. She was like so impressed.
We all loved her, and we're so happy to have her on the show. And she was a delight to work with. She's great. People don't realize with sitcoms, when you're doing it in front of a live audience, things get changed constantly.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to remember that and, go from line A to line Z, but go back to C. And she was right there with us. I mean, she is sharp as can be and just an amazing lady. I love working with her. She's just a delight.
Now, Peter, were you at the Academy Awards, or did you go to any Academy Award parties?
My invitation got lost in the mail last week. Everyone asked me that, and I don't know why they think I would be invited to that, but I have been to them. When the nanny was on in the top 20 for thank God, I went with Fran a couple of times to all those parties, and they're amazing. I mean, to sit in the room and you see all those people, it's just an amazing experience. But I actually had a bunch of people over to my house, and we watched it in my house, and had a lot of food.
Well, of course, everybody has I had some friends over, and what did you make? What did you serve for your Academy Awards party?
Well, let me just say something really quick. Peter is the host with the most. He throws an amazing. I went to one of his pool parties, and he had amazing spread. He's got a gorgeous house that overlooks the LA skyline, and it's really incredible. But tell us what you flipped and dipped.
I always want to know what people serve.
Well, I went all out, and of course didn't do it myself. But I called Jones on Third. I don't know if you know Jones on Third.
Oh, they're great.
And they made this amazing buffet for me, and they even deliver it all on these wooden trays and stuff.
Oh, nice.
It's beautiful, and the food is great. And then I got this giant tiramisu, which, of course, nobody touched but me. And I just sat there in bed with it when everyone left and finished it off. It was so good. Because a friend of mine told me the body can only absorb so much fat at one time.
Oh, that's good. I got to remember that.
That's good to know.
I was so happy he told me that. It was like I was looking, please don't touch that tiramisu so I can finish it.
Well, Peter, you're a producer, a writer, an actor, a director. Which of those things do you have the most passion for?
I love directing because you can get so creative. I love writing because I love hearing people say the lines that I write, if they're funny, and if they're not, I say somebody else wrote them. And then I also love, recently somebody, Todd Graff, had gotten married, who was a star of Baby on Broadway and directed Camp, and a great voice, and asked me to sing at his wedding because we used to sing together. I used to do shows in New York with him, and I hadn't sung in 20 years, but this is the year I'm saying yes to everything. So I said yes, I would do it. Now I forgot that he's friends with all these Broadway people that are sitting in the audience, basically, and I had to sing in front of all those people as they come down the aisle. So it was really scary, but I'm glad I did it. And then I told my agent, I said, well, if there's any musical stuff in New York, I'll do that. I'll go up for that.
Okay.
That would be fun for me. I would love to do that again. I would love to do Broadway.
Oh, that would be awesome. I think, that would be great. I think you definitely need to dial that in.
Yes. In fact, and another thing that I just did, which was really funny, I don't know if Fran told you, but we both did The Millionaire Matchmaker.
No.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
Yeah, they had asked me for a few years to do it, and I kept saying no, but, I'm getting older, so I got to find somebody quick.
Oh, so you're not in a relationship.
I'm not in a relationship at the moment, and so Fran and Patty fixed me up with somebody. I can't tell you how it ends, of course, because it airs on March 29th.
Oh, my God. We're going to definitely tune in for that one.
Yeah, this should be fun.
So were you looking for a millionaire, or were you the millionaire?
I wouldn't mind finding one, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's always
it's
always nice to get that one to come to the door, right?
Right.
I actually said to somebody once who did one of these things, and I said, well, what if I'm looking for the millionaire? They said, well, then you'd have to date somebody much older than yourself, probably.
Oh, okay.
I said, well, they're practically dead, so, you know.
Please. This guy looks. I've got to say, I was telling Barbara that you're in awesome shape. He's incredible. He's super fit, and you know.
Well, I see there's
yeah.
a picture of him on Wikipedia with no shirt on.
Uh-huh.
So
Wikipedia, they have a picture of me with
Shirtless on Wikipedia.
Shirtless, yeah. No, I Googled your name, and then this shirtless picture comes up. But you have a shirt that's open, and you have a six-pack, and it looks pretty hot.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've become a master at Photoshop, I tell people.
Well, Peter,
we're gonna have to send our photos to Peter. He can fluff our faces, right? Yeah.
You'll come out looking 16.
Yeah, I need that. Yeah.
Good thing we're radio.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, Peter, I look forward to meeting you sometime when I come up to L.A. and visit Rene.
Absolutely, I would love to.
Hey, thank you so much for calling in today. We really appreciate it.
This was a pleasure. Thank you guys so much. And,
Thank you.
It's been lovely.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
He's so nice.
Yeah, he's super cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's all kinds of fun.
Well, one person who is calling in today, who I didn't get a chance to introduce in the first part of the show because Fran called in a few minutes early, was Kim Richards from the Beverly Hills Housewives.
Yeah.
Another pal of yours.
Of course. I'm look, I'm pulling all my friends in here,
So Kim is on the phone with us now.
Hi, Rene.
Hey, Kim, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, my God. Thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I'm actually in Florida filming a movie right now, but I just want to let you know that I love you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's the feeling is mutual. I'm sending you love and good vibes right now.
So what movie are you filming, Kim?
Oh, well, I'm not telling.
Oh,
okay.
So, when it comes out, it'll be a surprise. And I'm having a lot of fun now here in Florida right now.
So you're taking time off of the Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Actually, I just, I'm kind of taking back. I'm acting. I'm doing my real job from before. This reality is different than acting, and I just started kind of getting back to work a little bit. Definitely having fun getting back to my real deal here.
I'm always interested as to why people decide to do reality TV because to me it seems like it would be an invasion of privacy. But I'm really interested. What made you do that?
It was actually I was in retirement. I was acting for years, and then I decided to stop working to raise my kids. A mother of four, and just very happy doing that. And then my sisters, Kathy and Kyle, had come to me and they said, hey, how about let's do a reality show, the three of us, doing our thing, our normal routines. And I was like, no, I'm really happy raising my kids, riding my horses, going to the gym. And they said, you could do the same thing that you're doing now. And we'll just come in and they would film us doing our lives, how we have lunch together and how we do this. And I was like, I don't know. Anyway, before I know it, the Housewives approached us, and it was still kind of the same concept. They said, look, you can just your daily life. We'll come in and film you cooking dinner with your kids, exercising, riding your horses. And that was kind of how it was approached to me. And they said, every once in a while, you'll have to have lunch with a few girls. And I said, okay. So I did it, and I didn't really realize the extent of all of it. But I had never seen an episode of The Housewives when I did it, when I first started.
Now, has that changed, being on the show, has that changed your relationship with your sister?
Have you seen the show?
I've been giving Barbara bullet points because I've been I stay up on it and because I know all these girls and it's like it makes it more fun for me to watch. So
we see the relationship that you have on television, but we don't see the relationship that you had growing up with your sister.
Well, growing up with my sister, I literally, as I explain it, always. Kyle was like my little baby, she was my child. Like I felt like she was mine. My mom used to say, Kimmy, she's not yours. She's not yours, she's mine. And I carried her around and I took care of her. And, and Kathy and I are very close. today. Kathy had moved away, with Rick and her husband, and he went to hotel school, and then they got married. And so Kathy and I are have gone through, like, when she was home, we were very close. And Kyle and I, as I said, I took care of her. I think that definitely Kyle and I have had our fair share of difficulties on the show. Regardless, she's my sister, and I love her. And what can I say? We've had our great times on the show, and we've had our difficult times on the show.
Well, one thing that, interested me, because I'm a recovering alcoholic and I'm sober 27 years, and on the show, rumors started that you weren't sober and had relapsed, and then I saw on the show's website that you wrote there are parts of your recovery that are personal. And that, can you explain what that means to you? And is being on reality TV hard to stay sober? Does it impact your sobriety?
Actually, it hasn't. I mean, when I first started the show, I was sober. And, even both my sisters were like, this could be hard. All the girls are drinking on the show, there's a lot of alcohol. They were concerned for me. And I was very solid in my 4 years of sobriety coming into this. And I think when we started, I'm a home person. I'm a homebody. I don't really go out a lot. Like I said, I cook dinner with my kids. We exercise together. I do everything with my kids and my sisters and my family. So when we started traveling and the girls started fighting, I really started, and I wasn't being able to be with my sponsor and all the people that I'm involved with. It started to throw me off. And so at that point, I relapsed on the show in the first year. And it was, I missed my home. I didn't have meetings. I didn't have my people. I was living in a hotel. The girls were screaming. So I did relapse that first year. And it was upsetting. It wasn't easy for me. I knew in my heart, I could get back. I knew I could do that. And I did. And I came back, and, after coming back from treatment, it was a decision. Do I take my sobriety and keep it for me and do this, or do I take my recovery and show people what I knew I could do, which is be sober and help people? And I've done that. And I think that it is hard to live your life out there for the world to judge you. There were a lot of people like, they saw me go down, they judged me, but they also saw me come back strong.
And I think that's important for other people who are going through the same thing, to see you on TV and see that you've come back and you're sober and you were able to make that transition again, gives people hope.
It did, and it's almost like I was saying the other day, I feel like at times I've got, for the people that have followed me through this experience that are sober or were struggling in sobriety or still are struggling in sobriety, I feel like I've got these millions of little, sponsees, It's like it helps me every day. I'm going to stay sober no matter what, but it's just one more reason every day to get up and, pop onto Twitter and see, I'm so proud of you. Gosh, my son's sober today because of you, and I'm sober, and, I see your story and it gives me hope. Those kind of things. This season, I had a chronic, I had bronchitis and pneumonia, and I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but I was having severe pain, and I took a pain pill. And, granted, it wasn't, I took from my ex-husband, and I did it, and I had to go to work, and I took something, and I did what I felt I had to do at that moment. I didn't, consciously go out and sabotage my sobriety. I didn't take it for fun. I didn't go out to,
Well, one pain pill, if you're in pain, I don't think that's a break in your sobriety.
Yeah, well, the girls on the show that aren't in the program, one of them particularly thought, Lisa Rene thought, that because it affected me horrible. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I saw it, and it did affect me terribly. But I can have a cup of coffee, and sometimes my heart just pounds, and I don't. Things affect me today much differently because I don't drink, because I don't take drugs.
So you're more hypersensitive, right?
Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I had no idea how it had affected me until my sister had told me, like, Lisa said you're acting funny. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was kind of upset with my sister just because I felt like she didn't take me outside to tell me. I felt like she told me in the bathroom, and I still had to walk out in front of all the people, like all the people at the house. So I was disappointed in how maybe she had told me, and maybe it's because I was not myself.
Right. Well, but you got through it, and that's the main thing, and you're sober today, right?
But honestly, it didn't end there. She went to everybody saying she's an addict. She's on drugs. I clearly said right away I had taken something, and I didn't deny that. But she went in and said I would relapse and I needed intervention, and it was just that part of it made it a really icky season for me.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds.
And you've got the movie going on, so it's.
And just for the record, I am strong in my sobriety today. I love my life the way it is. I would never, I wouldn't say never. I never want to go back.
Well, great. Well, we won't keep you. Thank you so much for sharing so
Kim,
honestly about your sobriety and your life. And we'll be watching and waiting for that movie.
I do want to say one thing.
Yes.
This man here, Rene, is absolutely my saving grace.
Oh, I come in for the fashion emergency, right?
On a red carpet or something, I call Rene and I'm like, Rene, what do I do? What do I wear?
Well, that's why we love him.
And I would definitely wear that color. Not Rene. Today with Marc, I don't know what I do on certain days.
Oh, well, that's great to hear. Well, thanks so much. We've got to jump.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Kim, so much. I can't wait till you come back and we'll get together, okay?
Okay, we still have some stuff to plan for the next wedding.
That's right. Lunch is on me.
Okay.
Okay,
bye-bye.
Thanks, babe.
Okay.
Bye.
And now on the phone with us, we have Randy Spelling. Hi, Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Hi, Rene.
Hey, bud. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, it's good to hear your voice as well. I was just telling Barbara how before in the beginning part of our show, and we were we kind of were talking about all the guests that we were having on today, and I had said that I've known you since you were like 12 years old. I think just before you moved into the manor. And yeah, and I just said, and Barbara's blown away because she's like, oh my God, she's like, you've known him since then, and I said, yeah, and
well, considering you're only 20,
I know, right?
I mean...
Yeah, yeah, I've got a I'm only 20. That's right, sure, yeah.
So Randy, I was looking at your website, and I found it fascinating. Tell us what you mean by being in the flow.
Okay. I chose to call my company that because I wanted to create a feeling. And for me, I've been in life where it's felt like a rapids, and sometimes it's like a lazy river and you're floating down and it feels good, and sometimes it feels like a class 5. And I was hitting rocks and all sorts of obstacles. And so I wanted to create a feeling for people that they could tap into, knowing that when you're in the flow of life, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be faced with obstacles, but that you can navigate around them.
Okay.
You can still be in the flow of your own life.
So you're a certified life coach.
I am.
How does life coaching differ from, let's say, going to a therapist?
The major distinction between life coaching and therapy is it's meant to deal with where you're at presently and where you want to take your life for the future. Therapy is meant to go back to traditional psychodynamic therapy is usually going back to mom and dad and sister and brother and how you grew up and how those patterns start. Whereas life coaching is meant to look at patterns and say, okay, how do we bring this up into present time? And where are you wanting to make changes in your life? And then addressing those changes and making them.
Okay, so for those who are not familiar with life coaching, somebody will call you and say, Randy, I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I need a transition to something.
Yeah, it really runs the gamut from dealing with transition, whether that's occupation or the loss of a loved one and moving forward. Divorce is a big one. Being a mother and having the empty nest syndrome and then finding what they want to do in life again. So it really runs the gamut. I work with people in terms of relationships, addictions, finding more happiness, finding a deeper sense of spirituality. There really hurt a lot of things.
Now, what is the cost of life coaching? Because I'm imagining that life coaching is for a specific period of time, or does it continue on open-ended?
Usually it's not open-ended. I do have clients that I've worked with on and off for 4 or 5 years, but normally it's a finite amount of time where a person comes and wants to get something specific. It could be 3 months, it could be a year. They make that change and then they say, okay, I'm okay for now. And then I might get a call from them 6 months later saying, well, I did what we worked on and I did what I wanted to achieve. Now I'm ready to do X, Y, and Z. And then we deal with that.
So is there a form that people fill out? I mean, how do you start?
I start by giving people consultations so they can ask me any questions that they have about the process, about how I work. And then I ask them a series of questions just to get a better understanding of what they're looking for and how this work can best suit them. And then depending on if it's a fit for both of us, then we move forward.
I also saw on your site that Leah does psychic readings. Now, is Leah your wife?
Leah's my wife, and yes, we call it energy work, and she does do intuitive readings. Mm-hmm.
That's very cool. I think we need to have her. Like, I need some of those intuitive readings. You know.
So, Randy, what are the biggest mistakes that people make as they're, let's say, moving through a career and they're stuck?
Good question. First and foremost, I don't like to label anything as a mistake.
Okay.
Just my personal belief that we don't necessarily make mistakes, but we do things that we grow from and learn from. To your question, though, one of the biggest pitfalls, I think, in a career is becoming complacent. And I hear that a lot, where people just, we go through things. I mean, some days we have good days, some days we have bad days. It's like any relationship, too. There's ups and downs. And a lot of times in career, we can get apathetic. We can get things just feel gray and kind of boring. So that's a point where I talk to people and say, okay, what are you wanting? Is there something missing? Do you really want a career change? Is it that you need to shift your perspective to look at what you're doing in a new way so you can rediscover the passion that you once had? And that's a big one.
So do you think that when people lose passion, they lose their way?
I do. I feel like the word passion and connection are very closely related. And when we don't feel passionate about something in life or life itself, there's a form of disconnection.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that when you lose passion or hope, things change. And that's when I see people around me start to get dark. And so I understand that. I see you're in Portland, Oregon. Do you just take care of clients there? Because you grew up in Los Angeles.
I did. I was born and raised in the epicenter of Hollywood.
Right, and I would think that would be a fruitful market for you in Hollywood.
It's a ripe market, and I still have many clients there. Thank goodness for technology and the telephone and Skype, because I have clients all over the world. So whether people are traveling, whether people are actually in my city where I can see them in person, or people all across the country and on other continents, I get to work with them all the time. So
it sounds
really
like
great.
you're a one-man band. How many clients can you actually take care of at any one time?
It depends. It depends on how my week is structured. It depends on how many events or groups I'm doing. So it varies. I can work with a good amount of people because some people I see once a week, some people I see once every 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
So that allows for me to cycle through a fair amount of clients. And for the people who can't either afford individual sessions or want something a little different, I do workshops and group work where they can pay a smaller fee,
Right,
and be a part of a group.
Growing up in basically a theatrically based family, why do you think you're drawn to this work rather than acting, producing, which kind of is your family business?
Oh, I'm still acting. I get to act every day with my clients.
This is true. Yeah.
When I'm in person, I get to stand up and act things out, or I get to channel them or channel someone around them, and it's actually armed me with something really valuable because I can reenact what they're feeling.
Okay.
Or what they're striving towards, and then mirror it for them so they can take it out of themselves, because sometimes it's hard to see stuff in ourselves, and I can do it for them so they can look and say, oh, yes, that's it right there.
Now, you work with your wife in this. Did you start this business together? What did she do before this, or has she always done this kind of work?
She's had a few different jobs, and I know it seems from the website that we work together, or it's our company. It's my company, but
Okay.
I listed her on the website only because she has her own thing. But some people, the work that I do is not that dissimilar from her work because I bring in intuitive work as well. But hers is a little bit different. So for people who want that specifically, I put it on there to offer the service so they can find her.
Okay. Well, do you think that being in Oregon has got a more spiritual vibe than LA?
Well,
okay, let me answer that carefully. I think there's more room to breathe from my experience in Portland. It's a different lifestyle. You're not surrounded by media.
this is true. Absolutely.
Business. Yeah, so for me, it's a different lifestyle. Whereas Los Angeles, when I go back there, I'm really reminded of how focused it really is on the entertainment business. I mean, every billboard that you see, 75% of them have something to do with the entertainment industry.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right,
true.
right.
Absolutely.
Well, I think you've got a fascinating website. I spent a lot of time on it, and it's really interesting. What you're doing is really interesting.
Yeah, and Randy, can you tell us a little about the book that you've got coming out? You said it's coming out next month on Unlimiting You.
Sure.
Yeah.
It comes out March 16th, and it's called Unlimiting You.
Very exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks. I have a newfound respect for authors now. I had no idea how much actually goes into writing a book.
And your dad was such an amazing writer, and I know your sister's written a lot of books too, and your mom. My God, you guys are all writers.
Yeah, basically, I just felt left out.
You're like, I gotta get a book out there, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think that would stress me out so much to like actually. I sit there and I think I'm in awe of anybody that can like flip a book together. I'm like, how do they
Right,
do
it's a
that?
lot
You
of
know?
work.
Yeah.
Well, you can pre-order Randy's book on his website.
Uh-huh.
And then will it be sold on Amazon and other sites?
It will. It will be sold on. It's actually available on Amazon now for pre-order.
Okay, great.
And yeah, pretty much everywhere that is available to buy books, it should be there.
Great.
Hey, are you going to be really quick, Barbara? Are you going to come to LA to do like a book signing or anything? Because Mark and I and Barbara will come and we'll
absolutely.
we'll get the books and you can sign them to us. I've got one from your mom and your sister and your dad, so I need
the whole collection.
I need the whole collection. You know.
Well, Rene, regardless of the book signing, I will sign one for you anyway.
Oh, good. Awesome. Thank you.
We'll be in Los Angeles doing some press. I just don't know exactly when. It might be at the end of March, and then I'm looking at putting a signing together, but I don't have the details yet.
Okay.
All right, well, keep us posted.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely dial me in because I definitely would love to, see you and to support that and support you.
Oh, thank you. I will. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you so much, Randy, for calling in. We really appreciate your taking the time to talk with us today.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
All right, bud. I'll be in touch, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Randy.
Bye.
Bye.
Renee, we are out of time.
Oh, my God. Where did the time
that was
go?
the fastest hour.
Oh, my God. I didn't even get to, ask. I mean, I wanted to ask all my frivolous, superficial questions. But anyway, until next time,
Gonna
right?
have to wait till next month.
Woo!
Woo! Thank you for listening to Living Out Loud with Barbara and Renee.
Oh, yeah.